Hey guys, if you're enjoying this podcast, then I know you'll enjoy the Girl Dad Discussion podcast. I'm your host, Ernest James, and I believe the relationship between a daughter and her father is one of the most important relationships a young lady can have. And therefore, my mission is to promote the daddy-daughter relationship by sharing the voices of girl dads to the world. So check out our podcast on every platform where podcasts can be listened to. And if you want to watch the podcast, check us out on our YouTube channel. Again, that's the Girl Dad Discussions podcast with your host, Ernest James.
Today I want to share a story about a dad and his daughter. You've probably experienced pieces of this story before. It's a story about taking advantage of small, everyday moments to have a bit of adventure. I'm Aaron, your host and dad of four. Be sure to hit that subscribe or follow button and share this episode with another dad you know. Thank you for joining me on the Dad Ventures podcast. This story happened just this morning, just a couple of hours ago. We were all getting ready for school, my boys were about to leave, and my 5-year-old daughter, who goes to preschool in the morning, comes to me and says, "Dad, can we do a Dad's Adventure Dice?" Now, Dad's Adventure Dice is a new game that I've developed, and it's pretty simple. There's 4 elements to it. There's an activity, a persona, a challenge, and stakes on if you win or lose the challenge. And the idea here is that you roll a die for each of those 4 pieces, and you come up with a simple adventure that you can go do with your kids. My 5-year-old daughter absolutely loves this little game. It's simple, she loves to roll the dice, but especially she loves the challenge and the stakes. So in the minutes before school, I was feeling, a little bit busy. We're trying to get ready. We're trying to get out the door. I didn't really want to stop to have an adventure, but she had asked to do this, and lo and behold, we had 5 minutes before we had to go. So we rolled the dice. The activity that was rolled on was to do a walk or a run outside, which is easy enough because we usually walk down to preschool. It's only about a 1/10 of a mile down the road from our house. Next, we had to decide what character we were going to pretend to be while on our adventure. So another roll of the dice, and it was determined wizards and witches. So we had to pretend to be wizards and witches while on our walk or run down to preschool. Now comes the fun part. What challenge are we going to do during this adventure? She rolled the die again, and we rolled a number 1, which was to be completely silent. Being completely silent is an immense challenge for my 5-year-old daughter. She is a burst of sunshine. She has a lot of energy. She is very extroverted. She loves to talk. She loves to sing. She loves to make noise. She's even learned how to whistle recently. And so being completely silent is an enormous challenge for her. So I thought this is going to be great. What's at stake? She rolled the die again. If we won, if we completed the challenge, she would get a special treat. And if we lost the challenge, she would have to do 5 push-ups. Now, this is actually the stakes that she wanted. There's 5 other stakes that could have happened, but this was the one that she wanted because she wanted to earn a special treat. She really loves her flaming hot Cheetos. We adapted the challenge a little bit. Instead of doing a walk or a run, she was on her scooter and I was on my bike, but we kept the being silent part and the stakes, of course, if she was completely silent during the whole way. So when it came time to leave, we started doing hand signals with each other. She started to sort of do the "I'm going to watch you and make sure you're silent" sort of a thing, and I kind of did it back to her. I had to kind of hand motion to her, "Hey, give your mom a kiss and a hug because now it's time to go." We started to be completely silent there from the very beginning. She got on her scooter, I got on my bike, and we started to go down the road. Now, as we are traveling down the road a little bit, there's a lot of chaos. There's kids walking to bus stops. There's a bus that goes through. There's people pulling out to go to work. There's a lot that's happening, and so trying to communicate while being completely silent and keeping your kids safe while you're scootering down the road, it was a challenge. It was a challenge. And I will say that for her, especially as she likes to sing, she likes to talk, she likes to have conversation, for her, again, being silent was an enormous challenge. But what really happened was we were able to communicate with each other through hand signals. Even once she did a little whistle to get my attention. And there was a lot of facial expressions. When you're silent, we actually had to really look at each other in the eyes and try to communicate through facial expressions, through hand gestures, in ways that we couldn't through words and conversation. You've got to come up with these other ways. I'll say this ride down to preschool is probably my most favorite and probably the one that I will remember the longest. We really enjoyed the movement. It was some fresh spring air. It was a beautiful spring morning. But because we were so quiet and contemplative, some extra advantages to that were we were able to hear the birds singing their morning songs and just enjoy being outside in nature and hearing the beautiful sounds and the songs of nature. But also the extra connection of looking into each other's eyes, doing the hand gestures and trying to communicate in other ways. Just that extra eye connection on the way to school that we usually don't get. It was a lot of fun. She did slip up once or twice trying to make a comment, but she always kind of cut herself and kind of gave me that look of, oh no, I forgot. But at the end, when we got to preschool, I judged that she had won the challenge and that she had earned her special treat. She was pretty excited about that. We had a hug. She went to preschool pretty excited. And in a couple of hours, when we pick her up from preschool, we'll have to drop by and get her some extra flaming hot Cheetos. Now, this is not an endorsement of flaming hot Cheetos, but it is an endorsement of taking advantage of the small, everyday moments to have a bit of adventure. We have walked to preschool. We've ridden our bikes to preschool so many times, but this was the first time that we had to be completely silent and pretend to be witches and wizards, and that led to some different outcomes, to some fun outcomes. I would encourage you, Dad, try to find those moments, whether it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes, in which you can have a bit of adventure. Just sprinkle in a little bit of fun and maybe a little bit of challenge and something that's at stake, whether that's a special treat if they win or a small set of push-ups if you lose the challenge. Try experimenting with that. Let me know how that goes. And if you would like to try out the Dad's Adventure Dice game for yourself, you can head over to store.adventures.dad and download the Dad's Adventure Dice. I think it's like less than $3. You can download that and print that out and start playing Dad's Adventure Dice today and creating some epic memories and taking advantage of those small moments in time to sprinkle in a bit of fun and make some memories. Thank you for listening to the Dad Adventures podcast, and good luck on the adventure of a lifetime, being a dad. Raise your hand if this has happened to you today. You're in the middle of work, you're knocking things off the to-do list, getting stuff done, and your kid asks you to play. Do you drop everything? Do you ask them to wait a minute? What do you do? If you're like me, you don't always say yes right away. The kid moves on, you get busy, and you forget to circle back around and play. An opportunity to make a memory has been lost, and the dad guilt settles in. Not so anymore. I've developed a simple game that will enable you to take those small moments and have fun. It's called Dad's Adventure Dice Digital Edition. My 5-year-old daughter asks me nearly every day, can we do Dad Adventure Dice? What follows are some quick rolls of the dice that lead to a fun activity with an intriguing twist. Within 5 or 10 minutes, we've had a lot of fun, shared a lot of laughter, and made a memory together. Download your own Dad's Adventure Dice today. Visit store.adventures.dad to download yours. That's store.adventure.dad to download Dad's Adventure Dice.